pass this around. Is this live, Clint? It is, yeah. Okay, so if you don't mind, just a brief introduction, and tell us about your Baccarat experience. We're still waiting for Evan to come, so, we can go through it if you wouldn't mind. Just go ahead. We have Money Gone, who's been around since 19...
I've been here. I've been here for about 2 years playing Baccarat only.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I joined about 2 years on Beat the Casino, and I'm just trying to basically learn the game good enough so when I come to Vegas, I'm a winner, not a loser.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to supplement my income or anything like that. I'm just trying to get good gameplay and just learn the basics on how to get out ahead.
Wonderful.
So pay for my trip to Vegas, have a good time. So but because of this COVID thing, I haven't been playing a lot this last year.
Right.
Because I'm a nurse and I've been working a lot.
Yeah.
But so now I'm trying to jump back in there and get it going again. My name's Matt, and my username's Money Gone on the website. So yeah, happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for putting it on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we wanted to get back in the swing of things.
Yeah, it's great.
And you're from, I'm sorry, where were you?
Folsom.
Folsom.
Yeah. Sacramento, California. Yeah.
So came a little way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We drove through Death Valley down here. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yep.
Thank you for coming. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Then we have Barry. He's the bear.
Hi, everyone. I'm the Bear, also known as Barry. Originally from San Antonio, now live in Las Vegas.
Oh, he's always there.
Just starting to get back into playing Baccarat. Been laying low for the last year or so, but I'm here to refresh my memory on everything I have forgotten.
All right. Well, thanks, Barry. Then we have Uday.
Hi, my name is Uday. I'm from Las Vegas. Been here 30 years, and originally from India. I've been playing Baccarat for the last couple of years and trying to improve my game, and I'm going to try to learn this new method that they're going to teach me. I have my own method that's been working pretty okay. But when it loses big. So that's the problem.
We want to fix that. We want to fix that. Okay. Thanks for coming, Uday. Thank you very much. And we have a world famous Mookie here.
World famous Mookie.
He's a performer, man.
I came here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's where I live, mostly. And I joined the forum about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
My first time we came out, it was a seminar like this over at the dealer's school. And then we went to Kevin's, and that was great fun. So I highly encourage that.
Yeah. So.
And I met Trillian, I met Greg, and a few other people. I met Rick. So
okay, thanks.
it's a great group.
And you're gonna you work real close with Bronx Al.
Bronx Al. I'll tell the story when I get up there, but
gonna do his go through and clarify ORU for everybody.
Yeah.
There you go. So thank you. Then we have Greg. Wait for it. He's going to give us some MyBookie stuff too today, and
more online type stuff. I'm originally from San Diego, but I'm known as a vagabond because I'm either in Oregon, here, Florida, or Texas, visiting relatives and stuff. I don't really have a home anywhere. It's wherever anybody will put up with me. Oh, I've been playing also for about 3 years, and everything I know about Baccarat, I learned at BTC.
All right.
My name is Al. I go by Hawaiian Al on the forum. I've been playing Baccarat for a long time, and it changes so much.
Right.
Back in the day when you're doing the old cards and the OR counts and all that, so I've been through all that. I've known Keith for a long time. I've known Kevin. I've just met Greg recently. I don't think I know too many other people. I'm from Hawaii. I come up here on the 3-4 day tours, which can be not beneficial many times because you're kind of rushed in a 3-day time.
Yeah.
I can't play like a lot of you folks where you can do your X amount of units per shoe and come back the next day, hit and run. You guys are here for a long time. I'm not. This time is different. I'm going to stay here for a long time.
Okay, good.
And I want to sustain that. Right. Otherwise, I'm going to be following you around.
Okay, you can.
This is my big guy right here. I got to meet him a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and I like Greg. I mean, I'm coming up because I need the support. I don't do always win all the time. I want to be consistent.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm here.
There we go. All right. Thank you.
My name's Joey, known on the forum as Scuba Doo. I don't post a lot, do more of a
There you are.
reading and trying to improve my game. I've been playing Baccarat for quite a while. Started playing it when I used to live down here in Vegas. I now live in Texas. but I go to the Shreveport to play a lot with some other friends, and I've played a lot of different methods, a lot of different ways. You know, bought other people's systems before, which was
Right.
kind of stupid, but you live and learn. But just trying to get consistent game going on, so I come out a winner every time off the table, and try if I can quit my job, make a living at this.
All right,
who knows?
brother.
You
That's
know?
the spirit. Well, thanks for coming and supporting us. Janice?
Hi, I'm Janice, and I guess on the forum I'm Elegant One.
Yeah.
So
Of course.
a face to a name. Pleasure to be here. I presently live in Las Vegas. I moved here in September. I'm originally from Chicago, and I moved to Florida 6 years ago. And so I got to a place where I work from home. I'm a captioner, so I can live anywhere. And I've been playing Baccarat and investigating Baccarat for about 5 years. So I met Keith in Florida maybe 5 years ago, or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was about that. Yeah.
So I'm here to tighten up my game,
Yep.
and Kevin has been so gracious and wonderful in passing on the education and the knowledge and the experience. So I'm here to just gather it all and assimilate it and put it to work.
Here we go. All right. Thank you, Janice.
Hi, I'm Jerry on BTC. I'm Jerry M.
Jerry M.
I live here. I've only been here about 3 years. I come from Boston originally. Yeah. Oh, you okay. I don't think I have an accent. Everyone says I do. But I've only been playing 6 months. I started last summer. I played for about 4 or 5 months. Then when COVID spiked, I stopped going to the casinos. And I just started going back now about a month ago.
Okay.
And everything I've learned, I've learned from the BTC I joined last July.
Yeah. Well, we have some stuff that you sent to me, and I think we're going to talk about too.
Yes.
Yes, so thank you.
My problem is consistency.
Okay.
Probably like everyone else, I guess.
Right.
It's, I win a bunch of times, and then 1 or 2 losses wipes out all the winnings that
Yep.
I had. And that's ticking me off. I can't figure that out. But I've learned a lot, and I know there's a lot more to learn, and that's why I'm here today.
All right. Well, thank you for supporting things. Thanks for coming. Dave?
Hi, David.
David.
FX David on the forum. I'm sure everybody's read all my posts. Been here about a month and a half with BTC. Read a lot, learning a lot, and of course, why everybody else is here too. I've been recreational a lot of time, but here to be consistent and to win.
There you go.
FX David.
FX, David.
Trade Forex?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I got to talk to you then.
All right, we'll have fun then. Been in Vegas for about 20 years now.
Here he is. Thank you. Welcome. Edwin?
Hi everyone, I'm Edwin. In the PTC, my username club Weir, HXFELM.
Yep.
Yeah, I have been in the PTC for long. I think it's a really long time.
It's been a long time.
Long
yeah.
time. When I joined is when Eric was in charge of forum, and then the last year the Eric in charge, and I joined. But back then I learned a lot, but I'm not really confident in playing that. I stopped for a long time, and I tried to pick it up last year, and then because COVID thing, I feel like I have more time to learn the stuff and pick up a lot of method, and also a lot changed too.
Yeah.
So need to spend more time to learn it to find a way that I could use in a real life. Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Oh, also I'm from New York. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll introduce her. Go ahead. Rick?
I'm Rick. I'm sitting at the front of the room. I don't need to stand up. I've been playing Baccarat for about 7 years. When I first started playing, it must have been beginner's luck because I felt I was really good. I won a lot of money. Then I got into some really bad habits. Lost a lot of money. And I first sought out BTC when it switched over. Keith took over and put this in this format. When was that? What year was that? 2015?
When we did the forum?
Yeah, when you switched over and then Ellis was out. And
with me and Ellis on there?
because I contacted you, you said, wait, give me 3
Oh,
or 4
yeah.
months. Anyway, that's kind of how long I've been hanging out
2007, I think it was.
with BTC. you know, I go up and down. I've developed a lot of bad habits. I developed a lot of good habits. I was playing really well after starting with BTC, but then I've gone back the other way, and I'm just so up and down. And my biggest problem is just patience and discipline, like most people.
Yep.
That's what the casino,
Absolutely.
you know, makes the living on. So I'm just trying to get back at it and get going again.
All right. Thank you. And you're going to help me with my slides. So, okay, Tom. Tom Z.
Hi, my name's Tom Zamuski, otherwise known as Tom Z. I signed up with the forum, I think it was May of 18.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And didn't do too much with it in the beginning. I took up Kevin on his breakfast.
Breakfast?
meeting.
You bought your breakfast, huh?
Yeah, it was a real eye-opener. And I went to the Bahamas.
Yep.
And sat with Kevin, Greg, and I think it was XDOT, was it?
XDOT?
Yeah. And I was just totally amazed at their abilities.
Yeah, they're good players.
Oh, yeah.
They're real good players.
I work a 10-hour day, so I don't play a whole lot right now. I play a little bit on the weekends, but I'm retiring in August, so
There you go.
plan to have more time. I just got back, actually, from Blackhawk, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
I played a little stadium up there, but it was during the day, so they didn't have a dealer.
All right.
But I won, so.
Yeah, that's all that matters. There you go.
But
Thanks for coming.
the forum's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Well, thank you.
You guys, it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, we're thinking about making it about 20 grand to join. So. Thank you. Hey.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I got to introduce my wife then. Thank you. And here's Trillion's been with us since 1922.
Yeah, my name is Leonard and everything. I live in Evansville. I've been a member for about 10 years.
I think so.
I haven't been a consistent winner, but I don't chase my losses, and I'm a flat better and everything. So if I usually generally stop around 2 or 4 units and everything. I don't go beyond that. As far as the progressions, you know, I follow, not progressions, but a positive type progression. You know, I know some of the previous members and everything that's no longer here and everything said if you don't use the 2-unit progression unless you won the 1-unit progression.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot to learn. Even though I've been a member for 10 years, you would think that I would be further along. Unfortunately, I'm not.
You're doing fine.
You know, but I enjoy the game. And I'm not a big bettor. I'm a small-time bettor because I'm not a consistent winner. If I ever get to be a consistent winner, Lord help me, then I can increase my units and everything.
All right.
But that's what we're all here for, to hopefully everybody pick each other's brains and everything, and hopefully come out ahead and everything at the end of our life.
All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So, who'd I miss? Oh, the coach in the back. The coach. How you doing, Coach? Evan O'Meara here.
All good. Hi, guys. Evan O'Meara on the forum. I'm coach. We go back a long way.
2010?
10.
10, yeah.
And there were some iterations before then even, but...
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. This has been I've been up and down as well, but I've been really fortunate with my play, very fortunate, and it's because of this group, because of you, because of Kev, and you know, just a brief story. You know, you look at some of the YouTube podcasts and of other sites, Baccarat sites, and generally this group has positive reviews. If there's a negative review, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
It's too hard to follow because it's not a system.
Right. No,
and it's not. You know, it's as much art and feel as it is science, and it is science. just one brief story. I was in a private Baccarat tournament at the Paris not long ago, and here was the format: 15 hands, no paper, no board, no nothing.
Wow. Wow.
So you had to. So I'm sitting at the table going, banker, player. Okay, then we got 2 in a row. So and I did quite well. It was
luck.
Well, perhaps yes, but employing the things that we collectively have brought to the table as professional players, amateur players, it definitely helped.
Absolutely.
And you
Sure.
can't. It isn't just about the luck. You can't get that far and just be lucky.
No.
There's got to be some skill involved. So, I'm glad I'm here, and glad we're going to spend some time together. And let's go.
Let's go, huh? Let's go. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming. So thank you, everybody. This is my beautiful wife, Dennis. This is her 3rd day in the United States, by the way. Thank you. We've been waiting for 3 years. So she speaks slow English, okay, just so you know. Slow English. So, okay, love. So I'm Keith. You all know me. I guess we don't need this anymore, Clint, since you got me on there. So I'll just click that. So welcome, everybody. We have, we're a little worried about getting it all in. So whatever we don't get to here, come to Kevin's house and we can finish everything up there, or you have questions and communicate with each other. The format today is, I'm going to clear up a couple questions about the forum first. One of them I get is how to search. Where's way too fast posts? Where's McVince posts? Where's posts from 20 years ago by this guy? I'm going to show you how to find all that real quick. I think it'll help everybody, especially now too, since you all have your laptops, if you have a question about any of that. Another question I got was, where's Canada Bach? And he came up, he was doing his DNA stuff, and is he coming back? He will be back. He just needed to get away from things for a while. So I looked at some of his stuff and kind of pulled it together in a way that is a little bit more cohesive and an easy way to play, and I put that together. Want to show you that. Just to backtrack a little bit, we're going to do maybe 1 or 2 things, myself, and I know Mookie's going to go over the ORE stuff, of just ways to kind of look at the game and system approaches to look at it. And then we're going to, a couple folks will be stopping in. I think actually Mike is coming, and they'll say a couple words. And right after me is Kevin is going to put it all together and show you exactly how to play the game and how we think and how we utilize everything that we have at Beat the Casino to play intelligently and match the system that, or what is occurring in the game, to how you match it to the game that you're in. So there's kind of 2 parts to this. One is just kind of going over some basic approaches that we're going to clear up, and then Kevin's going to kind of be the gel and the transition into how does a professional think, or how does a consistent winner think in each game, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to start with here was, I get a lot of questions about this, how to find anything by author and topic, and how to find legacy people and all that stuff. So it'll take a couple minutes. So if you go to the next slide here, Rick. That's all right. Use the mouse and then just this is your monitor here. And then grab the thing and just drag it down if you can. See the scroll here? There you go. So the first thing I want to tell you is that it's best just to simply search by author. So a lot of people go, where's Kevin's 5D? Where is Wait for It stuff? Where's all this stuff? The best thing to go is go by the author first, okay? So you go to the search bar. I'm sure you all see that. Once you go to the search bar, you click the search magnifying glass, which is there. You know what? I got these pointers too, didn't I? Click the search, click member search tab. So there's a content search tab, and then there's a member search tab, okay? You click the member search tab. Like the username, you're gonna go ahead and put in Catchus1, okay? Let me get over here too then. Enter the username, and then you're gonna go ahead and click search. So go ahead, and search is at the bottom, but how about the next slide, Rick? Okay? It'll find Catchus1, okay? And then you're gonna go ahead and click Find Content, okay? When you click Find Content, it's gonna do two things, okay? It's gonna find everything that they responded to and everything that they started, okay? What's best to do then, if like say for instance, you're looking for Greg's multiple 2-1, if he started a thread like that, if you change this from posts to topics, and that's the key. If you go topics, it'll show you every thread that they started. So if you want to see all the threads that Kevin started in chronological order from the beginning, that's how you find them. So you can pretty much find anything by anyone there then. Okay, and do we have another slide there, Nick? Yeah, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click on topics. Okay, and that'll be all the threads they started in chronological order. So you can find every thread that Kevin started since the beginning that we started the forum. Okay, so I think that's pretty valuable. Go ahead, let's see what the post, it'll show everything in chronological order that they responded to. That's a little bit different. And by the way, this will be on the forum then, okay? Go ahead. You can search it, obviously, by a lot, you can order it after that by a lot of different ways. You can go by recently updated, the title, the start date, the most commented, which is a real good way to find the most popular posts, by the way. Is if you want to see the most popular posts by Kevin, you'd search by Catchus1, topics, and then sort by most commented. And you can see here, here's 174, or go down, I think I put the example in. There's the title, it'll search by, go ahead, one more. The date, and the most commented, okay? So if you search by most commented, you can see here, for this one that Kevin started, Beat the Casino Q&A Baccarat, it had 25,000 views and 213 replies. So that's probably one you want to kind of read through, okay? So that's the way to find just about everything. Scroll down just a little bit more. And you can also search by the most views. So if there's a real popular subject by Catchus or Wait For It or Mookie or anybody, that's how you find it. And it's probably the best way to find anything. And maybe just, I guess that's it. Okay, so the other question I get is, what about the legacy players who made a significant contribution, who are no longer in the club, who left for whatever reason, where are they at? Okay, if they've gone away for more than a year, I moved them all into one thing. You want to write this down, by the way. If you search under member title, under member, and just put in ECD, okay, which is kind of kind of honoring Ellis a little bit. I put them all under ECD, okay? So all Ellis's posts will come up under ECD. All Way Too Fast posts will come up under ECD. All McVince's posts will come up under ECD. All Papa Joe's posts will come under ECD. All those guys that we get a lot of questions, where are they? You know, they moved on, okay? So if you go in there and search, they'll all come up under ECD, you'll see them all, and that's all you have to do. And they're all there, it's real easy to find, so anything. Now, also too, I put tags on them, and I'm not quite done with that yet, but you can also, when I pull it up, and well, that's okay. I was gonna show you, but when you go in and see that, you'll start to see, when it lists them out, you'll see the tags on each thread. It'll say OTB4L, it deals with that, or Too High, or Matrix, or any of the older approaches, they're all in there, okay? Okay. The other thing too that I think you asked me to mention too, Kevin, and I don't have a slide for it because you just said it the other day, is where do I find the System 40 manual? Where's Maverick manual? Where's anything, okay? If you go under the download sections, Let me just drive it for a second there. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rick. I want to show you how to find all this too. If we go here, and I'll drag this over. Okay, so if you see this button right here, downloads. If you go there, there's every manual we have. They're all there. All you got to do is download them. Okay, and if you can't download them, let me know, and you should have access to it. You know, so they're all there. There's tests. Somebody, who was that? Was that you, Barry, that bought the test manual or something? I forget who that was. Somebody went in and paid $10 for. I was doing a test, but there's all the manuals. System 40, the 2 high net bet, which we made a couple years ago. They're all in there, and you can certainly get them. Okay. How many are there? I don't even know. There's quite a few. Yeah, I don't even know, to be honest with you. So that's a real valuable place to have it. So any questions about searching legacy members? Any comments or?
How about the YouTube videos?
I'm sorry?
How about the YouTube videos?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the YouTube videos. Where are all the videos at? Okay. Let me just. This monitor here is, okay, the videos. So if you go, I think it's going to be, give me just a second here. Forgive me. I'm just going to mirror my display. It's too small to see on this. Okay, so there we go. So if you go to, you can go to videos, and there's a list there of some of the most popular ones, but the easiest way to do it is go forum, go premium member, okay, and it's right here, compiling the list of private members, the full Monty, and there's every video that I have indexed right now. There's, the list is rather extensive, and by the way, you won't see this video in there, but there's, I think I have 67 or 77, somewhere in there. I have 250 that I have to index, just from all the way back. So they're all under there. So you can go through, and there's hours. When I talk about, when someone says, where do I start, or where do you find the basics at? If you simply go through the consummate Baccarat approach, it's 4 videos. It's probably about 4 hours long. That's the one that kind of just goes over the general concepts of Beat the Casino, and probably the best place to start, okay? So, good stuff, okay? Any questions or comments of where to find anything, or any smart remarks?
As you say, you're sending this to all the members. You're going to have the send, so they would get this, information as well. The people that bought the video.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
you.
The
people that are getting the video that are not here in attendance. You're sending this to them as well.
Yeah, these guys get the video too. Yeah,
yeah, these do. But
and making the trip out here and all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. You'll get a copy of this video too, and I'll send you a private link to it. Which is what we'll do, and we'll kind of go from there. But here are the other member videos there, and we'll add them there. And as soon as I get back and back in the office, I want to get some more that I'll put in there. And some of the ones that maybe are irrelevant, we can take out. And same probably with the downloads. I need to clean that up a little bit to get some of the irrelevant ones. But if you're looking, like some people say, where's RD1? Where's Maverick? Where's the Matrix? They're all in the download section, so they're available to you. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff to know. So there you go. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to start with today here, so we can get everybody else going, is I put together this. As I was talking about this. Canada Bach was big on this DNA Baccarat type situation, and thank you. And so I tried to put something together with it that would kind of make a little bit more sense out of it. He was very big on, like saying, okay, well, if would you be just kind enough to take one take down? He was very big on talking about if the last player was a 7, then the next player was a 7, bet opposite, or if the last natural went opposite and stuff like that. And previous to that, I was doing a little study with kind of the deviations in score and whether one side was higher than the other side. And he was kind of going down along that road, but he didn't kind of look at it from a statistical perspective. He looked at it just from an event perspective. Like, okay, well, if the last natural went opposite, I'm going to bet opposite. Kind of that. And I felt that he had, the philosophy of the forum is to listen to what every player has to say. And then take it and see if you can make sense out of it, or does it work or doesn't it work? Like Kevin's stuff evolved over a period of time, the 5D, looking at just about every statistic that is relevant in the casino. And I started listening to Canada Bach and trying to take a lot of information and what statistic would work and what one, well, as you know, like sometimes it would work just really well. Like, oh geez, yeah, that game, every natural went opposite. Or every natural repeated, or every time there was a 7 on player, another 7 came, or here come the ties. It was kind of uncanny sometimes, and then other times, we'd be sitting there, he's doing a demonstration, and he couldn't pick 3 in a row, or 1 out of 4. And so, but there was something to that made sense to me, and I tried to look at it from a different perspective, from a statistical perspective. So what he was looking at was the averages of the average score of each side. And there's something to that because it's not just categorical data. Like when we look at 1 in a rows and we compare it to 2 in a rows and 3 in a rows and 4 in a rows, that's like when you go into a grocery store, you're looking at apples and then you're looking at oranges and then you're looking at pears, okay? But he was looking at a deeper statistic. He was looking at the numerical data, 7, 8, 9. And this makes sense to me as a statistician. So I thought, well, maybe I can find a way to take that information that he's using and make sense out of it and try to put it in a perspective where you can find trending in that. Is there any trending? So go back a little bit. I was talking with Dixon, and he was developing this app. And I don't know if you remember, but I was looking at the game when we did a couple practice sessions of, the average score of this side was 5. The average score of this side was 7. This is the most common score. This is the least common score on that side. And so I started down that path. And then when he came, I kind of started looking at what he was saying. So I tried to make sense of it and make it work for the game. And I think I found a way. And it's a real simple way. Somebody's saying, what would be the simplest way to play a game? Okay, so now you have to just divide how you play. And this is real important, into 2 ways. One is, I'm going to look at this game and I'm going to analyze these statistics, right? And I'm going to come up with the best way to play this game, albeit 5D, Visual 87. They're looking for variance, and whatever you bet in that game is dependent upon what you see in variance, right? Or disparity, as we call it. This way, they said, give me a real simple way to play. Well, this way to play is I'm going to learn this approach, but I have to wait for this game to occur to play it, okay? So the trick is then, if I like to play this way and it's low risk and it's an easy way to play, I have to wait for that game to present itself because I'm not going back and changing the strategy. I'm just looking for this statistic, okay? And when I see that, I can win. Okay, so that's what this is about, and I thought it made a little bit more sense out of what Canada was talking about, and it's a very simple way to play it. And you'll see, I've discovered some really interesting things that I think you'll find very interesting while I was looking at these numbers. Let me ask you something first, and this is the most amazing thing I found. Who do you think has the highest average score, banker or player?
Banker's supposed to, but player always seems like it does.
Player always seems like it does?
Banker's supposed to have a higher score. It's a
Okay.
lot more, but it seems like player always comes out ahead of the game.
Okay. Okay. I'll show you. I took 80,000 hands. 80,000 hands. And player wins less hands, but has a higher average score, which was one of the most amazing things that I would have bet everything I own that couldn't possibly happen. Okay. But it did. So it's obviously the hit rules. Okay. And so these little things, and that's one of the things that I like to talk about in the forum is like you got to listen to people who have a story. And, you know, you never know what you're going to discover then. And this is one of the things that I'll show you here. Let me sit down and pull it up here while you're following along. And so it was really amazing that we found that. And by the way, I got those games from the Wizard of Odds. So you know what I mean? It's really valid stuff. And I just crunched them in Excel. And it was funny that no one ever went to the bottom, did a sum, and did an average of scores. And you know, I think I talked to Kevin about it and said, wow, that's really interesting. So listen, I want to get through this quick because I know we have a lot to get through, but I'll get through this here. I need about 15 minutes here to get through all this, and I think you'll find this interesting. And then I think you'll find this a real enjoyable and easy way to play. And the reason I think this is valuable is because Stadium Baccarat is so fast. And this is such a great way to play Stadium Baccarat because you can actually wait for these games. And it's certainly a way to set there. You don't have to mark down a lot of stuff. You just have to look for a certain thing. So one of the things that I kind of wanted to explain, and I think most everybody knows this, it doesn't mean that at the end of a million hands, 500,000 will be banker and 500,000 will be player. It means that the more hands you play, the closer to the statistical norm it'll be, okay? So when I show you 80,000 hands with banker and player, right, it's going to say that banker won 0.98% of the time, okay, which is almost 1%, okay? They won 1% more hands, which is what it's supposed to come out to, somewhere in there. But when we look at individual games, right, we always see greater variation. The smaller the sample, the greater the variation, and that's what we're looking for. So the trick becomes, how in the hell do you find this variation before it comes so that you know you got to bet it, right? And that's the most important thing. So let me just some facts that I found. Okay, so this is the numbers that I showed you. Oops, I told Mookie not to do that. If you move too fast with this stuff, I think it's on your second page there too. Let me just move down slow. Okay. Yeah, so there you are. The 1% of the hands, over 80,000 hands, 50.40% were won by banker, 49.50% were won by player. The difference was about 693, I guess. And ties were 7,820, which is about 9.6% ties, which I thought was interesting. It was a little high on ties, perhaps. So let me get to the next page here. What about a shoe? So as I was saying, we usually find here, you know, obviously you've seen all this. When you look at when you look at one game, here's a 4% variance, right? It's not 1%. You're looking for you know, obviously, here's a game where, you know, we see some stuff happening, and there's a 4% variance. So one of the points I wanted to make with this, and probably just get to the video that I made about this, which I think you'll find interesting. And don't worry, I'm going to get to how the hell you figure this out. Variance and spread. Oh. Yeah, so when you're talking about variance and spread, I did crunch the statistics, and this is just standard statistics. 97.73% of the time, okay? When you play 100 hands, and we'll say that's a shoe, when you play 100 hands, you're going to be plus or minus 15. If you just guess, that's normal, okay? You're just guessing. You could be plus or minus 15. So when people say, oh gosh, I'm down minus 10. Well, I played every hand. Okay, well, you know, that's really not too bad guessing. So guess what happened? You just played into just randomness. So you didn't find any variance in the game, okay? But that's what you're looking for. So the lesson that I want to extend to people is you must find variance, okay? You got to find a variance, albeit, you know, something that Kevin's going to show you a little bit later on. Because listen, if you don't find the variance, you can be plus or minus 15 really easily, okay? And what is the worst, this is something folks never thought about, is the worst thing that you can do as a Baccarat player is to play against a bias. And you know the most common way to play against a bias? You see it all the time.
Bet against a run.
Bet against a run. Bet against a run is the most common way people lose, aside from overbetting and all that stuff. So you're betting against a run, and you may be betting against a bias, or a real statistical advantage would come as if you bet with the game. So then you start thinking about that. Well, remember how many times you bet against a run. And it can be any run, a zigzag run. It can be a set of multiple twos. It can be a set of straight runs. If you bet against that, you bet against what's happening, you lose faster than you statistically should. If you bet with it, you win faster than you statistically should. So it's equally important not to bet against a bias, okay? And it's also, yes, sir.
I think that's one thing that a lot of us as players misunderstand, is that when you have a run can be a combination of things. A run can be 3-2, 3-2, 3-2.
Yeah, absolutely.
A run can be all bank, all player. It can be, anything can be a run.
Anything can be a run. Any sort of repetitive pattern.
That's right. Any sort of repetitive pattern can be a run.
Exactly. So, however, the easiest ones to find are what? Are the straight runs. Sometimes zigzag runs. I think straight ones come out a little bit easier. So let's say, for instance, so when I was looking at this DNA stuff, I was saying, okay, there has to be something in these damn numbers that tell us what is going on with this. This run is coming. Because, I don't know if you've noticed some players, they have an uncanny ability to pick out a strong side. They do. I mean, some great players have really had that uncanny ability, or repeats. And they know when to capitalize on it. And if you do watch them, a lot of them will bet it up as you win. And they feel real confident about doing it, okay? And quite honestly, some of my best wins have been betting on strong side and repeats and stuff. So how the heck do we find this variance before it happens? And I was crunching these numbers, looking at Canada box stuff, looking at the stuff with all this stuff. And, I came up with a real simple way to do it. And I think you'll find it. But one of the things that I wanted to show you here real quick, and I don't know if we're going to hear any sound here, Clint. Okay, Keith here from Beat the Casino. Hey, I wanted to do a little experiment. And it came about by, and we've always talked about this at Beat the Casino. When we talk about, when people look at a Baccarat game, or experts, so to speak, they always talk about the long-term statistics of the game. So tell you what, let's take a look at the long-term statistics. I'm going to put in this bowl 1,000 player hands. Now they always, actually not a couple thousand, there's probably 100,000 grains of sand in there. I don't know. So each hand of that, each grain of sand represents one player hand. And I'll put about the same amount banker hands. That's pretty close, don't you think? Okay. Oh, someone said ties. Yeah, there's a couple ties. One in about every 11, right? There you go. There's your ties. Okay. So what experts do when they talk about the game is they take this and they say, well, over 1 million hands, let's say, just for sake of argument, we have, I don't know how many grain of sands are in there, but quite a few. They say over the long term, they're all going to equalize. Well, sure, any system will equalize over long term, but let's pour them in a bowl here. I want to show you how we look at a game of Baccarat. You get that out of the shot. Then we'll take our banker hands and our ties and we'll put them in a beaker here, from my college days. And let's go ahead and mix them up. There's our red and blues and everything. Get them all randomized. And this is going to represent the sample that everyone talks about of 1 million hands, okay? Suppose we sampled it, and we're going to dump it out. And there's our 1 million hands of Baccarat, right? All in one big shot, okay? So each hand Each game is about 72 grains of sand, right? Okay, let me ask you something. Do you see any patterns in this? Okay, why? Well, one, the sample size is so big that everything is obscured, because any sample size that big, or any system that big where you go to do analysis, if you keep throwing more and more sample size at it, it's going to normalize and it will get the bell curve. Okay, but this isn't how we look at. We don't. When they talk about, we look at this over 1 million hands. Do you play Baccarat 1 million hands every night? Do you go into the casino and play every hand at every table constantly? Well, of course not. You know, obviously. What do? How do we play Baccarat? We look at. We take hands of 72. We sit down and play it game by game. And I want to tell you the statistic. What this is called. If someone is doing some sort of process analysis of this sample to see if there's any variation or any trends they can find. Now listen, you can find variation in a system by assignable cause, which means there's a reason for it. Okay, there's some process flaw, or just by random chance it just happened to be occurring. Okay, in Baccarat, it doesn't make any difference whether you find it by random chance, or it happens by random chance, or there's some technique that the casino isn't doing to randomize the cards that causes a process flaw and causes something odd to occur. It doesn't matter how you discover it. It's just, if you find it, you discovered it and you bet with it. Okay, but back to my point, we take out 72 hands at a time, don't we? We may take out this many hands, and then we take out this many hands, and we play it game by game. Okay, and we look at it game by game. So we take small sample sizes. We do what's called stratified sampling, and you can certainly Google stratified sampling. It's a scientific method used in statistics. So we don't play it 1 million hands at a time. We play it about 72 hands at a time. I mean, sometimes we play that longer, sometimes we play more. Okay, so let me show you. So what I wanted to make there, the point is, for all this about the 50-50 game, is that I was going to put up, but I wish I would have done it. I was going to put up a shoe and go, this is the last shoe I played. And it was going to be all player with 72 hands, okay? And go, hey, here's my last shoe. Okay, so now if I take, this is what the point I need you to understand. If I take that 72 hands, let's say I played that game. Look, hell, we'd all win that game, right? 72 hands a player. But if we took that and then we keep playing, and we're playing random games, and we're not trying to find bias, every time, the longer you play, eventually that will all normalize over 1 million hands if you just keep playing and not try to find a bias, okay? So it's very important to try to find a bias. But if I threw that 72 hands a player in that 1 million hands and you were trying to find it, you couldn't find it. So out of those 1 million hands, we got to be selective about what we do, because if you don't, you're going to lose. Okay, you're going to give back all the money you won. You have to find the bias. That's the whole thing. Okay, so now how do you do this? Short term, what's the easy way to play? Well, so I was looking at these numbers and going, okay, so we need to find a bias. And we traditionally use 1 in a rows, 2 in a rows, 3 in a rows, 3 in a row, which is a great way to play when you can sit down there and analyze stuff really, really slow and think about everything. But damn, there's an advantage to Stadium Baccarat because you can play a lot of hands and play a lot of games. So I sat down and I started crunching these numbers and looking at it in Excel and all this stuff and looking at it like a statistician would. And I said, what would be a trigger to find this? Now let me pull this up and show you. Okay, so here's what I found. Oh, let me reload it there. Here's what I found out. The easiest way. Now, you got to remember. Oh, it didn't refresh, did it? There, I think it's right. It did it again. Okay. I think that's what you were talking about, Mookie, huh? Yeah. You'll see me do this at the table now. I love to play this way in Stadium Baccarat. Okay. It's a great way to play. I think you'll agree. I'm sure you'll post on the forum. This is a great way to play. I didn't show this to anybody yet. But just group the final scores, okay? 0 to 2 is a down arrow, and I'm going to show you what you start to see. 0 to 2 is, you just put a little down arrow. I'll show you a scorecard then. 3 to 6 is just kind of a neutral, however you want to introduce a neutral side. And 7 to 9 is an up arrow, okay? Now, it's not quite that simple, okay? As we look for other games, okay, as we look for this game, you want to watch for repeats, which we always said, okay? And you'll see this evolve. Attached is for a streak game. Multiple ones on the weak side is for a strong side game. So there's two kind of games that this type of tracking, and this is real easy to track too, are going to identify and tell you what to bet, okay? You're going to have a lot of fun with this, I'm telling you, at Stadium Bach. I know you're going to love this. It's going to show you a streaky game where it streaks on banker and it streaks on player, okay? And it's where it's really strong is when it's tied with multiple ones, okay? And I'll show you the scorecard so you understand exactly. And weak side has just a lot of single ones, okay? When you put these two statistics together, when you track these this statistic of the average score, okay, dividing it into 3 sections, and you pair it with this secondary statistic, you'll find streak and you'll find strong side games, okay? Let me show you. Now again, if you can't force it, you have to let it, you have to see it, but you'll see it beforehand. Okay, so let's see if I got it here. Okay, so here's what you'll start to see. Now I put this in Excel, but now look, here obviously there's a 6 in a row. Okay, but as I scroll down, you'll see it. This one's pretty easy, okay? All you got to do is put a little arrow. But you'll start to see stuff like this before it occurs. You'll see generally, like here are arrows to the side. That means 3 through 6. Here are arrows down. That means 0 through 2. What's the predominant one on this side? Well, it's obviously down, okay? Here, you get more that's up. Now, I think what would be interesting is after 10 hands here, you can see that it's actually still going to continue, okay? But this was a real easy example. Most people would see it with just the banker streak, okay? But what qualifies it is the numbers also quantify it, okay? And it's going to be, and then the single player. Let me scroll down and show you the rest of it. And I got another example I want to show you. And you can see it change too. So here, notice here, it started here again. You still have the high side, but look, it's beaten the high side, and then still here, it was still banker side. It was still banker strong, and it still stayed banker strong. You can just do it by just glancing at the arrows, and you can still see it banker strong. And then look here, then you had 4 of them. And it just predicts this with such ease that all you got to do is look at the arrows and see what the predominant one is.
It's just referencing which one is hitting the most, banker or player. We're not talking about scores right now.
Yeah, no, we're talking about scores. This is the score 5 to 9. Okay, this was a mid-level score, and this was a high score. So it kind of quantifies the most common score and the average score. And that's important to understand, is the most common score. We talk about most common as 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 1 in a row, okay? When Canada Bach was talking about scores, he was talking about most common scores and what happened after most common scores. Okay, it works sometimes, but there was a certain inconsistency to it. Like we say 2 in a rows are most common. He would say 7 is most common on this side. Well, that's okay if 7 is most common on this side, but if 9 is most common on this side, you're going to lose, okay? So what it grouped them together from 7 to 9 and then 3 to 6. And sometimes, like here, this is mere luck, okay? But because they're both high scores and the banker still won. But when you look up, you can see that banker still had a stronger component to it because it had more higher scores and more middle scores and didn't have any low scores. Like here's 2 low scores in player, and then up earlier there were more low scores. So what you're doing is you're looking for a trending in this where in fact you see the score average change. Okay, so what it did, it actually predicted the change in the shoe before it happened. So I think, yeah. So as you see here, in this part, it's like, where does the shoe change? You know, when does this strong side stuff start to end, or it gets a little weaker? Well, here, see, you can see here, here's a run of 5 high scores, that's a real good way to look at things. Well, they had 5 high scores in a row. Okay, here it had a low score and it went down, but look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in a row. Okay, so 7 really high scores, and then you'll see there was no more, and I'll show you the rest. That's where the twist in this game came, is you can see it trending over to the player. So I think I thought I had a picture of it here, but I guess I don't. Yeah, there it was. Let me put up this one. I thought I had a better picture of it to show you. Let's see. Where's my? More sample game. Oh, okay. I think I just missed some slides. I'm sorry. Okay, so that was the variant. How do we exploit this? I have this spreadsheet that showed you the trending. Bear with me just a second here. I thought I had it embedded in this one, but maybe I just put it in here. Give me just a second here. I think I have it in here. Oh, here we go. So you can see yes, so here the game, right here, you can start to see how this game started to evolve into the banker getting a little bit more weaker, and then the player coming back a little bit. So I wanted to show you. I had this spreadsheet. Let me open it in Excel. I guess it kind of disappeared. I had a really good, or did I put it in the thing here? Maybe I put it in here, and so I thought you were looking at it here. Oh, yeah. No, I guess I didn't print it out. Yeah, so the one game, let me, no, his copy issues. I think it was this one. Yeah, here it is. So this one here, this was that game. You can kind of see here was the trending over here on the left. This is what I wanted to show you, and you can see how the game evolved. And then right here at hand, I think that's like 35 to 40. Okay, so if we go down here, you can see right in here where the banker started getting some lower scores and the player started getting some higher scores. And then the player, there was kind of a twist in the game. Like here, see how the player's scores are going up, and you start seeing less and less and more red on the banker side. And that's where the turn in the game came. And that's where the banker's strong side kind of disappeared. So you can use the arrows to kind of get a feel for that. So here's the other one that it predicted this banker run. You can see it. It isn't as clear in this game, but you can see the banker started with having more green arrows, and the player had some less, not as many green arrows, and then sideways arrows. And you can watch this and use it to predict. Obviously here, it really just took off. But the thing I wanted to mention about this game, that was, and forgive me for jumping around there, this one, what was missing in this game, okay, was what I first stated, was that you see a lot of green and then middle arrows, and then kind of a shortage of one in a rows, okay? And then it turns from strong side, from what could be confused as a strong side, to just more a streaky game. So when you see a lack of one in a rows with a bias like this, where the banker has green and side arrows, combined with a shortage of one in a rows, it predicts kind of a streaky game rather than a strong side game. So that's the real difference. But you kind of get, once you sit down and start drawing these darn arrows in these games, you'll start to, and all you have to look at is like the last 10 hands, and it'll start to predict what's going to come up. But again, you got to find the game. It isn't like go in and force it to come. It'll be real obvious. There'll be more green and side arrows here, or up arrows, I guess I should say, if you do it with pencil. And you'll see a significant difference. And if it's grouped with not a lot of one in a rows, you'll find a repeat game. So I think that was very interesting. So let me show you. I just got one more point I wanted to show you. I want to pull up the spreadsheet, and I think I have this trend. Okay. Okay, so that first game I showed you, so I put it in Excel. Okay, I put all the games and all the scores in Excel. And Excel has a function to find trending. Okay, so in that first game where the banker actually turned into a strong side, and then you can see about hand 40 where the players started to take over. When you put all those games in Excel and you just put the arrows in and let Excel calculate it, you can see, and we'll look at the game, you'll see right about here the player, as its average score went up, and you can see the banker trending, the trend line here. And of course, this was the banker strong, and then the player kind of neutralized the game, or the twist of where you actually probably just want to quit the game. And if you look at that shoe, that was the first one. Yeah, there it is. So that trend line in Excel from calculating the average score, you can see that here everything started to normalize a little bit where you didn't get this. This obviously is where the strong side banker occurred, and the trend picked it up by the arrow trend. And then what happens is Excel pointed out that the average player score was increasing, and the banker score was decreasing. Now, the issue with watching it is you can't just look at individual hands. You have to kind of find a way to group them, which is what I was trying to do. And that's the way it works with Excel, is doing it 0 to 2, 3 to 6, and 6 to 9. And if you look at this, the trending is very easy to point out. Now, I was thinking the other thing, and just to finish up, a couple things that I may tweak it with, and I have to kind of support it with numbers. But I think you could probably add, when a high score, I'm sure you've had this experience as a Baccarat player, you turn over an 8, and what happens? You just lost to a 9. Yeah. I think that may be a significant statistic, and I think it's something that, if you're playing this way, it should be pretty easy to track that. Well, these high scores lost to these high scores. And did that consistently happen? Well, yeah, it pretty much happened here, or it tied, And something else I was looking at is a lot of times I'll say, well, if it's a strong side, you can usually see a tie in a run, That needs to be determined yet. I haven't really determined that yet, but I think it's really interesting. Notice over here there weren't any. But here there were in these tie games. So I thought that was really interesting. And it's something I'm looking at. So if you get a chance to play Stadium Baccarat and you're in a fast game, go ahead and do these arrows and see if you can point out a trend. And I'm sure you'll find it very, very interesting and hopefully help you try to discover a strong side game, or at least when the twist is going to occur. Okay, so interesting stuff. Just a couple things I told you about. I wanted to show you the average score of player, and I have it all the way down here at the end of the game. So after 80,000 hands, the average player score is 5.1, and the average banker score is 5.09. Huh?
That's close.
It's close, but it ain't supposed to be that way. At least that's, I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, it should be the other way around. You would think. But if we go to the top, banker won more hands. And, but you can see banker won more hands. 36,886 to 36,193. So it's very, even though the player had an average hand score. Now, what would be interesting to find out, and I'll do it with the hit cards and whatnot, but I'll dig down on those and get that real, why that is, and that'll be interesting to know. But just interesting stuff. So that's it with the trending, and again, like I say, there's more coming with that. I'm going to crunch some more numbers. So I hope you find it interesting. I hope you get a chance. If you get to Stadium Baccarat, go ahead and see if you can find some trends. And it usually does. Like right about here, when you're about here, you can start to see, even about here, you can start to see that it's really validating that banker's going to stay strong. So now, obviously it started with a 6 in a row, which certainly didn't hurt things. But the other thing too is, remember, it was combined with the 1 in a rows, and that's the key to that. So, okay.
I have one comment.
Go ahead.
I always hear about potentially that the casinos could stack the deck with Baccarat. They could pre-place the cards.
Yeah.
The casinos could potentially pre-place the cards in the shoe.
Right.
To have a predetermined result. We don't really know if they're doing that or not. I know we don't like to focus.
They probably don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to, right? We don't like to focus on that.
No.
But if they did, this could, and if they're lazy or if the computer's lazy,
yeah, right.
They could be putting in the numbers this way to have the scores higher, and you could have potentially stumbled on a way to detect that.
Yeah, you can.
This could potentially be a way to detect that while it's happening.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty interesting that you came up with this.
Yeah.
I think.
Again, it's like trying to, from my statistics background, I'm trying to quantify things with numbers and not just categories, like 1 in a row, 2 in a row, 3 in a row. Yeah. Trying to find a number. If there's a bias, it'll show in the number, and of course, the trick is to predict it. What good does it, after the fact, anybody can look at a shoe and go, well, it's more bankers, I just bet banker. But you got to, like with this game, I want to know here it's strong side banker, okay? So you got 2 indicators. You got the score, the trends of the score, and you got the 1 in a rows. And then what validated it further? Well, you got the ties and the runs. Okay, well now it's starting to end. Well, you can start to see it with the arrows then. It's starting to end, and that's even Excel picked it up. It crossed over like that. So that's really what you're trying to do. But if you're going to find something, it'll work with categorical data. But if you find the number, the real at the core, the number, the data, the numeric, the ratio data, that will really trigger when it's a good bet. And I think in a couple cases, you'll see this work really, really well. It'll be real obvious, Sure, you could look at this and right even here and go, well, hey, we're going to bet bank, right? But here, when you quantify it like this, and then the 1 in a rows with it, it predicts that it'll continue. And that's key. And then right here is when players started catching up, and you can see that with the arrows and the 1 and the multiples and whatnot. And notice here too, the multiples are attached then too. So the whole complexion of the game changed. So
that brings me to another question.
Go ahead.
So when you find a variance like this and you're able to jump on it,
yeah.
This is the thing that always gets me, is when it unwinds.
When it what?
You continue to bet on it when it unwinds.
Well,
it goes away.
Yeah, right. But see,
and that happens with 5D too. You
yeah.
see something happening in there, and you jump on it, and then it starts not happening.
Right,
so,
right. Well, this tries to predict that it's going to continue, so you can either flat bet it. I like to bet it a little bit up as you win, And the thing is if you find a variance and you can exploit it just a little bit more than you normally would, that'll make you a winner. Like here, knowing that banker's going to probably win a couple more hands. But then, like right in here, you want to look at the trending and see if you see a change. Like this kind of stuff here, where three high wins, three high scores against 3 high scores. Is that good for the banker? I don't know yet. Or is that good for the player or for the trying to catch up? you see, I don't know how this statistic is relevant yet. So stuff like that. But like I say, it's real easy to do arrows and then just look at them and kind of, rather than looking 3 back, 4 back, 5. You don't have time to calculate everything. So I was trying to find a way to do it a lot quicker. But you will find that this works really well in stadium Baccarat. But you got to find the game. You got to just wait for the game, and it's a real interesting way to play. So it's just kind of in development. But again, +5 or +6 is good. And looking for it to predict when it's well, okay, I got +5, I'm out the door. So it's a great way to play. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. And as now it's out there, I'm sure a lot of people will find it interesting and have some more feedback. But thank you for the questions. So, any other comments or questions or smart remarks? Go ahead.
Well, I'm new to stadium, but I've been trying to...
Hold on, Janice, just a second.
I'm sorry, I'll raise my voice. I'm new to stadium, and I just find it overwhelming with all the information and trying to select the right shoe.
Right.
Playing your shoe and then looking over and seeing something else happen.
Yeah, I know.
So how do you approach getting acclimated to playing stadium?
I just play one shoe. I know, you know what, that's probably not true to some extent. I mean, I'm playing with Kevin and I know he can assimilate a lot of information fast. I'm always looking over like, what the hell is he doing, Is he making $50? He's not telling me about it, that kind of thing, right? Okay. But when I sit and play by myself and I figure, okay, I'm going to get a lot of shoes really fast. So what's the rush? So I'm going to find one game and I'll sit down and play by myself. And when I go to the Orleans, I'm going to sit down and all I do is I sit there and I just look. Honest to God, I'll just sit there and look for street games. That's all I do. I don't do, because it's just an easy way to play. I'll sit down there by myself, draw some arrows, and look at the game. Okay, well, there's a shortage of ones and I'm getting a lot of up arrows on this side. I'm going to bet it's going to be a strong side. And maybe 1 out of 5 games, I'll find something that I want to bet on. But the games come so fast that, you're there for, 30 minutes and you got 5 or 6 shoes. That's how I do it.
If you're looking for that to develop and it doesn't, then do you abandon that and then just go to a different shoe?
Of course, yeah, of course. And sometimes, it's like, well, I'm sitting here waiting for this game to, oh man, this is 5D and 3 back is killing them. I'm sitting here watching it, But I've always found that just looking for a street game is just an easy way to play. And it's, how do you anticipate it coming? And this is the way that's really worked well, is using these crazy little arrows, trying to take Canada's stuff and try to condense it and make it more viable in a game rather than just, well, it's a 7 on this one, now it's going to go opposite. I don't think that's significant. I think there has to be a trending that you have to find, and that's what I'm trying to identify with these arrows and the average score. So, good question.
I've never played stadium Baccarat. So.
What's that?
I never played stadium Baccarat.
Yeah, it's a fast game. You don't have time to think. You will. It's a fast game. The Orleans, I think it's 1 every 15 seconds they do it. 15 or 20 seconds a hand. So it's extremely quick. 20 seconds. But do you find it streaks more there? At the Orleans. Have you played the Orleans? No, okay. Has anybody played the Orleans in the stadium? Do you find it streaky there? I do, yeah. And that's kind of funny in itself, It's like, Mike said something to me the other night. He goes, the Aria is a little harder to beat than Palace Station and Orleans. I go, yeah. I go, why? Well, it's not as streaky, Are we just imagining that, or is it true? So this way we'll show it, obviously. So.
Well, that brings up a question too, is that, and maybe something we can point out on the forum, is that every casino you go to, the game plays different.
Yeah, it seems to, yeah. It seems to.
So if we compiled a database of, hey guys, at this casino, the shoe seems to be playing this way all the time.
That.
Oh, we do?
Strategic Baccarat Interface, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we noticed that. Stuff like that, yeah.
But I mean, even like doing it all across the country, like, 'cause,
oh, sure.
I live in Dallas, so are close to Dallas, I live in Plano, so I go to Shreveport to play.
Yep.
So I've got 5 casinos out there, but two of them that I usually play at.
Right.
And I know that one of them plays different than the other one, so you have to attack it at
a different way. Exactly. Yeah. If you find a reason that there's a bias, then you can exploit the heck out of it. I mean, that's what they're trying to not have, is a bias in a game. Go ahead.
I played the SBI almost every day
Oh,
at practice, and I noticed the Gold Coast, very streaky.
Very streaky. Yeah, it's the same with
I
the Gold
noticed
Coast.
it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because when I play, I try not to look at the casino.
Yeah.
Because, I just try not to.
Yeah.
Because if I noticed that Gold Coast was streaky, so I don't want to know in advance, basically, so I try not to look up there.
Yeah.
But when I'm done playing, then I look at it, I'm saying, okay, that makes sense now. I just noticed it's very, very streaky.
Sure. Well, I'm sure Kevin notices that Red Rock is a certain game.
Just to close that loop on, you said it is, the information is available in SBI as to.
Oh, yeah. It's by casino.
But you having to look at each shoe and analyze it, not that it says.
Yeah. No, I don't have the.
Gold Coast is streaky and.
No. The only place that we actually found that was we found it at Hard Rock in Florida one time, where we'd look at it. I mean, from real shoes now, mind you, that there was 7%. There was too many repeats. It was a time before last game, and we were playing to a 7% advantage for a certain amount of time. So now, see, here's the thing and I got to end up here because we got to move on. But it's like, okay, so there for that short time frame, there's a 7% advantage playing this way. Well, now if you keep playing, or let's say, for instance, it happened just by random chance, or something happened to what he said, the casino did something, or maybe it was just the damn shuffle machine didn't work right. Well, if you just keep playing and playing, and the casino, mathematicians know this, if you just keep throwing sample and keep playing and playing, and they corrected it, all those are going to become insignificant. So you have to find that variance, and you can't play into randomness. You've got to find a variance. Or you just keep playing into randomness, you're not going to find you're going to guess wrong. Okay, you're going to be a minus 15 game or a minus 10 game. That's what's going to happen. So you got to find trending, whether it be this way or some of the ways we're going to talk about. So anyway, anything else? Barry?
Are you flat betting these?
No, I don't. No, I bet them up as you win. Okay. Yeah, I bet them a little bit up as you win. I may go, 25, 40, 60 sometimes. And, if I win that, I figure, man, that's not a bad win, Sometimes more, it all depends, But I usually bet it up as you win when I bet streaks, So not much. Don't misunderstand me. Not much. And a lot of times too, if I miss one, I'll bet a 1-2 loop type thing. That kind of stuff. I've been playing with that, but I think you could probably beat it flat betting if you bet enough on it. So 50 or 100. So, but I'm just kind of still experimenting with it, and the winning percentage is really high. The problem is you got to have the discipline to sit there and wait for this damn game. So. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting, so thank you. Listen, I want to turn it over to Kevin. Oh, I'm sorry, Edwin.
So for this method, you're looking for which side has the more up arrow, and then you determine the strong
up
side.
Up arrows, and for strong side, up arrows, and for strong side, up arrows over neutral and low arrows, and 1 in a rows. So there's 2 qualifiers for a strong side game, and if you find that game, it'll hold. The 1 in a rows and the more up arrows, okay? Now, look, you can look at it just by looking at the events too. Like, oh, well, God, here's a 6 in a row, okay? But these arrows are going to quantify it just that little bit more that you need to say, okay, it's going to continue, and that's what you're looking for, okay? And when you see this changing, hopefully it predicts, okay, well, it's going to change. You're looking for like stuff like this is like, and I don't know yet, is like when up arrows come and they're beaten, does that indicate that the strong side is going to continue, or does that indicate that the lower side is catching up? In this case, the strong side continued. So I just not sure about when high side beats high side statistic, okay? But I do know one of the qualifiers for strong side is 1 in a rows, sometimes 2. But that's pretty much how it's evolved. And then, like I said, here you'll see the numbers and the arrows kind of you can see here it just started getting mixed up. Like just generally looking at this, look, they're mostly all up, only one down. Okay, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. You know, so those are things that I'm not exactly sure how to put it together yet, to be quite honest. But I'm on its heels, really starting to qualify it. But this is a pretty easy one to figure out. But yeah, so okay. So listen, let's get it over to Kevin here because we're going to run out of time. So turn it over to Kevin. Thanks a lot, and we'll have that on the forum. So.
Is that mic on? Is it?